Today, we turn our attention to a topic that has dominated a national headline over the past week, the controversy surrounding the Electoral Act amendment. As you may recall, the Senate recently passed the Electoral Act 2022 amendment bill through third reading, introducing a number of changes aimed at updating Nigeria's electoral framework ahead of the 2027 general elections. One of the most contentious aspects of the amendment, however, was the removal of the phrase real time from the provisions on electronic transmission of election results. Excuse me, a move critics say could weaken safeguards against post-election manipulation. Now, this decision has sparked widespread debate across the country with concerns raised by civil society organizations, pro-democracy groups, labor unions, and opposition figures. Over the past few days, these groups mobilized a protest which they've tagged Occupy the National Assembly, converging on the complex to voice their opposition. Now, demonstrators, including the 2023 Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi, yesterday marched from the Federal Secretariat to the National Assembly, carrying placards calling for transparent and credible elections. While heavy armed security operatives prevented them from entering the premises, the protesters insisted on making their demands heard, warning that any weakening of electoral safeguards could undermine Nigeria's democratic process. Today on Daybreak, we want to hear from you, our viewers and listeners. Do you support demonstrations at the National Assembly over election reform, or do you believe there are other ways to raise concerns about the amendment? It's time to pick up your phone, and join the conversation as we explore the issues, the opinions, and also the future of our Nigerian democracy. Talking about the electoral reforms. Excuse me, Hauwa, so sorry. The weather is a bit dry. Now, talking about the electoral reforms, we have seen the sagas going on. We saw a protest that happened yesterday. I don't know why I'm smiling, but I think because of the dramas, that happened in the protest, people carrying mattresses, carrying, little things that would, survive them for the day while they protest for the good of our electoral reforms and system. What is your take concerning the removal of the real-time phrase when it comes to, the transmission of our results electronically, because it is something that we have been debating and clamoring for years, being that we have seen that our elections, when it comes to transparency and credibility, there is a shortfall.
With that removal, there is a lot to, analyze on that, but let's take our first caller.
All right. Hello, good morning. Thank you for calling in. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Good morning, Fatima and Hauwa. I'm right.
Maimuna and Hauwa.
We have Maimuna and Hauwa here.
Maimuna and Hauwa. Good morning, First TV and Zio.
Good morning.
My name is Bagudu. I'm calling from Kaduna State.
All right. Thank you for calling in.
Thank you for calling in.
Okay. Thank you very much. So when you look at the current situation, we Nigerians find ourselves under the leadership of APC-led administration. So electoral reform is very good in an advanced country. In an advanced country, election reform is good. Election can be done to ensure that the Nigerians elected their leader who will represent them in the era of a chamber or lower chamber. So in a situation where our leaders fail to do the right thing, fail to protect the interests of the masses who brought them onto this power. So the protest is the only solution, because that is the only language that our leaders can hear. This is the only thing that our leaders mostly afraid of. Remember, a lot of the senators, House of members, cannot go to their constituents because what they have done to the Senate or offer to the lower chamber is very minimal. So majority of them, the chance of being re-elected is very slim. So that is why they do everything possible to ensure that they do some certain maneuver that will bring them to this power. So me, I am 100% support of this protest unless the government decision has reversed the issue to make the process transparent, to ensure that if you vote, your vote will be counted and the result has been sent immediately. Those who win the election will be announced. So I support 100% unless they sit down and reverse the process to become transparent. So that is the reason why I take.
All right, thank you very much for that.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Now, looking at the removal of this particular phrase, real time, it's quite detrimental due to the fact that it automatically, first off, Nigerians, what they always crave, what they've always craved is a free and fair election. Now, when it comes to transmission of electronic transmission of results, Nigerians would assume that if it is going to be in real time, immediate, as soon as those votes are counted, let them just be transmitted so that Nigerians can know what is going on. And for that omission, in aiding for them to have transparency, then obviously it'll make a lot of Nigerians skeptical about the motives behind removing that particular phrase and ensuring that they do get those results as quickly as possible and have so much transparency that they, in their heart of hearts, have that peace of mind that at least we can have a semblance of a free and fair election. Yes, we have a caller.
Okay, we have another caller. Hello, good morning. Thank you for calling in. Good morning, Ade. Thank you for calling in. Good morning.
Good morning.
The electoral transition. It was not new at all. The bone of contention real time and real time, which is totally different. Now, in a place like Nigeria, I don't say real time, because the mitigation is the same after election. It's defined real time. You are not to understand. Somebody has started right and in one of the media yesterday. 50 kilometers after the video, no better. We bring it worry that people plant the hill to use their phone. That's why the market is their market in time. So, and some other plants is that as well. There's no network at all. And I even to sometimes those people that don't go. I don't know Nigeria, and several other parts in Nigeria. So, when you come to Nigeria that they don't have infrastructure, they are saying real time. Real time for where? It's not going to happen. There's no way it will be there. Because it doesn't make sense. For this time, even you transfer money to your phone on your phone, they won't get it. And they won't give you back on the 1 month. So where is the real time coming from? So the electoral traffic is still good. What are we going to do? It's in one as well. But they give an option, transfer the electoral, but not mandatory. But this one has the same mandatory in real time. It's a time bomb. Nobody will take it. Who is going to accept that? Because they are looking their way to monitor the other people are saying the guy was come on. And that was real time. I mean, you know what is happening. And people are too trouble very soon. What are you talking about? I'm a good person. I'm a realist. I just you can't work in Nigeria. When you are banking, it's not guaranteed. When you start that money, it's not guaranteed. And we want to read time on an investor. Yes, there are many people in the north and the south. The network is not working. These people around banking is before this at any time. What time is that? You say, I normally say, in Nigeria, if you don't like somebody, you can't afford the person there. You just do. But this time, it's over. I guarantee you that you can do that. I'm very much sure.
All right.
So that's my own view of that.
All right, thank you
All right,
so much.
Ade, thank you for
that.
calling in and joining the
Now, there's
conversation.
one thing I really want to speak about when it comes to Nigerians is that we always have that notion that when an idea is up or something of an advancement, whether it be technological or whatever it is, we always say it's not going to work in Nigeria. Why is it that always that we say things are not going to work in Nigeria? Is it part of our pessimistic inbuilt way of thinking that things would not work in Nigeria? If we do want it to work, we would make it work. And go ahead.
Hauwa, I feel that, one thing that Nigerians are known for is making excuses. And these excuses have, brought us to where we are as a country. When you say that for certain reasons, because there are no networks in some communities or in some nook and crannies of some areas in Nigeria, and that's the reason why, you're halting the transmission of it's just, for example, you are saying
majority.
Absolutely. You're just trying to say that you're just trying to say that for a plane crash that we know, do incidents like that happen, are you going to say that because there are plane crashes, then people should not fly planes and go to where they want to go to? But then we have another caller. Hello, good morning. Thank you for calling in. What's your name and where are you calling from?
All right, we lost that call. Now, speaking of that particular real-time issue, it is quite understandable that in some areas, it is not going to be possible to transmit immediately in real time. In real time means as it is happening.
At the moment, yeah.
But there can be exceptions.
Absolutely.
Not to strike that particular break out for it to be just electronic transmission of results. When is it going to be? That means it's from now till thy kingdom come.
I mean, if we say Nigeria is the giant of Africa, then there are certain things that, the world has moved into that we should also pick up. If we have countries like Ghana, if we have countries, some few African countries that are
advancing.
Absolutely, we are advancing.
Why can we not be advanced when it comes to our electoral processes?
Absolutely. Hauwa, have you seen the electoral coalition sheet? You would find out that, we do things haphazardly. In terms of, yes, we do things haphazardly. And at the end of the day, you notice that, things are not being done properly the way they are supposed to be done in a standard manner and way. If we are clamoring for, these results to be transmitted electronically, it's because we have had experience. Based on our past experience, we don't want these things to keep going on each time we come to the polling units to cast our votes, because Nigerians are saying that at the end of the day, what's the essence of coming out, standing under the sun and voting when your vote will not count at the end of the day?
Absolutely, and that is one thing that really demoralizes Nigerians. Now, looking at this particular issue of transmitting results electronically, having it transmitted real time it just makes so much sense.
And it makes things easy.
Absolutely, to make sure Nigerians' minds are at peace and understand that, yes, what we are seeing is what we are getting, and that is the real thing. But then there can be a stipulation, a clause, if it is not possible under extreme circumstances,
yes,
that these results cannot be transmitted immediately in real time, then there should be a leeway of a particular time frame that these results can be transmitted. I believe that would at least appease Nigerians, give them a sense of, peace.
But how are we saying that? Are we saying that
at the credibility of our elections?
Are we saying that our leaders, our governments are just realizing that there are some states and some communities in Nigeria that don't have networks? Are they just realizing that
Nigeria does have networks?
Yes, because if you go to these communities, you get to find POS. You see POS machines there.
And then whatever that is being done, a majority is being used. Now, looking at it, I believe it is only right for Nigerians to question what they feel is not going to serve them. It is only right for them to question what might be detrimental to democracy. Because if it continues, then what will happen next if there's another electoral reform, that everyone does whatever fits them and what might be favorable for them when it comes to election day.
And then I feel for politicians who are mindful of themselves, of their performances over time, should not kick against this, because it is a huge, should I say, a huge tool for them to be sure that their supporters, you know, are the ones that really voted them in. Everything is clear. And I feel, because critics are saying that at the end of the day, it might generate, you know, a lot of court cases, because in areas where we have issues of, you know, network and, you know, uploading of the results could be a problem. And that could be pegged as a reason why, you know, they lost. Exactly. It speaks volume
about our electoral processes. It speaks volume about the credibility of people that are around, that need to collate, that do the processes of elections, from bringing in materials all the way to collating votes and transmitting those results. It speaks volume of how much Nigerians trust the system. It speaks volumes of how much even the people in government trust the system that they do work in. So where are we heading to,
and then
if we cannot be able to be transparent?
Each time we talk about democracy, it's not only, you know, out there for some certain kind of people. Everybody is involved, and that's why we have the Gen Zs presently. And the Gen Zs believe so much in, you know, electronical devices, technology. So if you want them to be part of the electoral process, if you want them to vote, if you want them to exercise their rights as Nigerians and as citizens, then you have to move ahead of them as well, and make them feel like they're included. Because it doesn't make any sense to see that an issue that should be sorted out, we're coming back. And that's why I always say, are we moving backwards or are we moving forward?
And we would see that a lot of funds, billions of naira, can be invested or allocated in doing some other projects. But why not? Why not invest in our electoral system, our electoral processes? Make sure that it's seamless, make sure that it's easy for us to be able to access, for Nigerians to be able to see everything clearly, for Nigerians to have that understanding and faith that, yes, no matter what happens, we know we can trust the electoral process.
And remember, Hauwa, we have also seen promises. I remember when Amupitan came in, you know, he was being asked, what are you going to do differently? What are those reforms that are on the table that you feel that will be right for Nigeria's electoral system? And one of them he came out clearly to say was the transmission of this result. I mean, it makes it easy. Everybody is at rest, and it makes more sense. At the end of the day, you get to find out that a lot of issues that we do encounter during our electoral proceedings would go down. Togri, for example, will go down because everybody is. Yes, I believe so strongly that it will go down. Vote buying as well will go down, because at that point we have another caller. All right. Hello, good morning. Thank you for calling in. What's your name and where are you calling from? Hello, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you, Mr. Paul, for calling in.
Thank you. The controversy over electoral reform, that demonstration, let's see that if I'm in Abuja, would have joined the protest, and that demonstration, honestly, if I'm in Abuja, would have joined. It's a very good one. These people that we are talking about, the lawmakers, I think for them to legislate what we be in favor of the general masses, it's like asking them to commit suicide. Why am I saying this? You know, when they legislate what favor the masses, because they are not doing what is right, they know that when the elections come, people will always want to vote against them. So they will not legislate what we favor the masses, but rather they will legislate because they know they are not doing well. And as they are not doing well, people will not love them going back to that seat. So it is their own weapon that they can use to continue to be on top, even when they are not doing the right thing. That's the truth. If a common person who is not a politician has the opportunity to legislate on what the election reform will become of Nigeria, I think everybody will be happy. But there is not the opportunity, so it's only fair that we help us in Nigeria, because if a leader knows that our vote we can, if you are elected, you will do what is right and what is proper, so that you can be elected when another election comes up. But because they have the horse, they have the room, they can do whatever that will favor them at the expense of the market. So they are there for themselves and their family. That is what I know. God will help us. God bless Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Paul, for
much,
calling
Mr.
in
Paul.
and joining the conversations. Nigerians should not be denied the right to, feel the dividends of democracy. If we're coming out to, protest concerning a certain thing, it's not because, the people or the citizens are against the government. It's because we have seen that, these processes have worked in other countries and it has helped, ease a lot of tension. Why don't we adopt it as well as a country?
All right, we have another caller on the line. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, my beautiful mother in the house.
Good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Thank you for calling in.
My name is Mr. G. I'm calling from Delta State.
No, sincere apologies. Thank you for calling
Good morning,
in.
Mr. V. Go ahead.
Yeah, you see this electoral reform and the retransmission of results we are talking about. It's one of the key to make the electoral process being transparent. You see what these politicians do? During election period, the day of election, after collecting the results, they will take the form, the form that they wrote the result on, they will start mutilating them. You see the way they will start cancelling, and if you show those forms, you will be shocked. So if there is real-time transmission of results, I don't think that one will take place. And when you go to all these villages there, people are complaining that there is no knowledge of them. Is there any village in this country where we don't have POS? All those rural areas. All those rural areas, if you go there, you see POS. What are they using? Is it not the same network? So they just want to weaponize this election to make sure that the masses don't get their way because of their own greedy and selfish interest. What you wanted to pass before was real-time transmission of results. That was what other things were having in their mind. But at the end, you now put it transfer of results, not real-time transmission. The reason why they put that transfer, but when it's done at the end of the day, go to court. When you go to court, you will not see another grammar again. You will not see the difference between transmission and transfer. You know that there is difference. Just like in Nigeria say, mathematically, 1 times 3 and 3 times 1 is the same thing. But medically, 1 times 3 and 3 times 1 is not the same. Thank you, my beautiful mother. Good morning.
Thank you for calling in and joining the conversation.
Now, looking at the perspective of the Senate, it is something that needs to, be broken apart. Having to be able to transmit these results in real time should be something to be celebrated, should be something to be encouraged, should be something that they're representatives, obviously, and they're supposed to represent the Nigerians exactly.
Yes.
And having to have them there, it should be for Nigerians, understanding the plight of Nigerians and the skepticism when it comes to electoral processes. But let's take our next caller.
Hello, good morning. Thank you for calling in. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Ladies, good morning. Trust me, good morning.
Good morning.
This is Abasekon calling from Gombe State.
Thank you, Abasekon.
Thank you for joining in.
Yeah, sincerely speaking, the topic for today is awesomely well presented. The semantics that is on ground is something that Nigeria needs to kick out in all dexterity. We need to kick it out. And to this basis, I support the topic on the platform on Trust TV. We should resist it in totality. We should resist it. Because I cannot go and vote, spend my time under the sun, under the rain, and then somebody will now come and make my vote invalid. This is no. This is uncalled for. Sincerely speaking, nobody will be happy. And I want to beg the Senate President. He has been a local government chairman. He was uncommon. He was a commissioner. He was uncommon. He became a governor. He was uncommon. He became a minority leader. He was uncommon. And now, Senate President, does he want to become common because he wants to achieve the aim and objective of a person, a particular person? I kick against it. I kick in all ramification, in all dexterity. I stand to say no. And I will even support going to Abuja to go and uproot him from that place. Thank you, Trust TV. I appreciate you people. Wonderful job, wonderful people, good television station.
Thank you very much, Abasin.
Thank you,
Abasin. I believe that we have a couple of WhatsApp
Absolutely,
messages.
we do. I'll take the first one from, okay, no name, I guess.
I think it's...
Okay, from Abdullahi Meriga. He says, good morning, Hauwa and Maimuna. If JAM can transmit results at specific time and kidnappers in bush can send victims' videos to Nigeria without setting period, Nigerian senators can't continue deceiving us. We need transmission of elections results immediately. Thank you for sending in your message.
All right, next up, we have a message from Uma F. And it says, good morning, ladies in the studio. We have entered one chance bus in this country. The people steering the affairs of this country are taking us for granted and doing whatever they like. Have legislators asked those who voted for them before thinking such decision? The masses must liberate themselves from this slavery. The form of liberation it will take, I don't know. But surely Nigerians are in bondage. Thank you very much for that.
We have another WhatsApp message from Nandi Bete. It says, good morning, Trust TV. One can argue without fear of contradiction that over the years, some of our elected political office holders paid deaf ears to the yearnings and aspirations of the electorate. If the senators, for instance, were to be sensitive to the cries of the people about free and fair elections that have integrity, there would have been no demonstrations at National Assembly today. This is a country where POS banking system is going on successfully, even in very remote communities. Why will it not be possible to electronically transmit election results? I support the demonstrations. They are the only way to drum the yearnings of the people to those senators. Thank you, Nandi Bete, for sending in your WhatsApp message. All right, thank you to everyone who called in to join the conversation, and that wraps it on our phone-in segment.